Hey everyone, Butlee here. I'm with Patch. Good day to you, sir.
That's Patch Frere of Souls to you.
Frere of Souls.
Yes, I noticed that we're Freer of Souls, but Freer is spelled F-R-E-E-R, and it
We
looks
are
very silly.
Frere of Souls because we destroyed the Necromancer but didn't destroy him. It's because we freed Gildas, that's why.
Yep.
He's the soul that was free. I don't know who else's soul we freed. Maybe Divold, but then we like enslaved him into our party, so I can't imagine he feels very free at the moment.
He's not enslaved, he can leave anytime he wants.
No, he
We
can't.
just won't let him.
Says who? Dear. Yeah, so now we don't really have, like, our mission from the story perspective. The Duke sent us out to deal with that problem. Remember when we had to go to Port Ashton?
Yep.
And that was our thing. And we've cleaned that up. What you'll see is happening now, though, since we don't have a mission, we kind of just have to canter back to the Duke to get our next orders, right? So I'm going to do a bit of training and get some other guys a bit of screen time, because we're going to start using some other classes. So you can see we've changed to a level 9 class, because we have a handful of classes, as you can see here. A handful of characters in around the 7, 8 through 11 sort of levels, and I'm trying to level out some of those people. So obviously Murden's going to have a run, so we need to give him a bit better gear. He's actually been really useful, even at low levels, because he heals, so he acts as like a cut price cleric who can take a couple of hits. But hopefully as he grows a bit as a White Knight, he can actually be a bit of an offensive threat. I've never used the White Knights, so I don't know how they go late game in terms of abilities and skills, and if there's much unique to them, so that'll be interesting. And actually Terror Knights I tend to scale off as well. I get kind of like, I don't know, I guess I just don't really like them. If I'm going to use dark spells, I go full Dark Mage, and if I'm going to use like tanky units, I tend to go with the proper Knights because they have the healing. So I haven't used a lot of Terror Knights, so it'll be nice to have one in the team to throw out there every now and then. And yeah, there's just bits and pieces. Here I'm changing Little John to Ninja class because he's going to have that blowgun we crafted all that long time ago.
Nice.
So he can't, still can't use the good one yet because he needs to be like level 13 Beast Tamer or whatever. But
Yeah.
at least for now he can get the ability and use a weaker blowgun and start actually shooting people and getting levels on that. So they won't deal the most damage at the best of times, but hopefully when we're going he can do it a little bit. At least he'll have poison when he gets going. Excuse me while I have a quick sip of tea.
Oh, don't mind me, I'm actually just watching my puppy to the side. He was just rolling around on the floor.
At least you have a puppy.
Sure do.
I'd love
Should
to
talk
get.
about that for one episode.
I'd love to get a pet, but that would mean I would have to look after it, and it's not that bad looking after it. Like I'd probably prefer a cat because it's slightly lower maintenance and I don't have a yard to run around in. But the problem is more the tether to having to be here. They tend to just come and go, and you know, even just going away for a few days, you'd have to look after it, which, you know, and it'd be really difficult. I know I live with people, but we all tend to have that freedom. We're all single and we all have different lives, so we all come and go sometimes, and just don't, you know, I just wonder if I would ever. Yeah, it would just be tough to look after a pet. You'd have to be a bit more responsible, which is, you know,
I have a question.
welcome to parenting. Sure, go.
Are you able to change characters' names?
I don't believe so, actually.
Okay. Never
Yeah, I
mind.
know we have 2 Gilberts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Confusing as hell. When
I was
you
thinking, what if
hire
you made
them, I
both
think you
Gilberts?
can. But I think other than that, I think you just stuck with it.
I was going to say, what if both Gilberts had the same class? Would you be able to tell them apart? And then I was imagining, what if you had an entire team of nothing but Gilberts who are all the same class?
Well, we're lucky because one Gilbert has wings. And you can't hide them. Even if they're the same class.
Just strap some wings on the rest of them.
You have fairy wings. So you can see here, I'm just going through some of our lower classes, and they've all sort of had like the odd game sitting in the odd fight sitting in the background and stuff. So they've all got an assortment of points. So I'm just touching all these classes, characters up. Basically, to figure this out, you do it class based. I sort of said, well, here's the classes that I want to raise, and here's the characters that I want in them classes eventually. And I sort of did a wiggle job to, you know, like it's like our main character. I was happy to lower him to warrior class and lower levels because, you know, I wanted to try him out as different things, and he can just stack up as many abilities as we can. So
Yeah.
He's gonna have like 20 abilities at the end of the game, so it doesn't matter if he can only use 10 at a time. So he can go all classes and learn all kinds of things, and that way, whatever class we want him to be at whatever time, he can just do it. So it's kind of useful. I don't mind raising him. We got waylaid. This is just a random battle. Sometimes these happen in certain areas when you're traveling back, and they scale like the training ground scales, so it's a good chance to throw out our weaker party. What's really going to hurt us in this battle is just not having weapon classes. So, you know, like I'm a level 2 sword wielder, so I'll still deal damage, but the rest of these guys haven't had a lot of combat, so they won't deal much damage. Like Little John will deal nothing because he has a little blowgun and it doesn't have any special abilities. So,
Not yet, anyway.
not yet. And Divold I think will still deal damage because two-handed swords deal damage, and he's level 2 in that. But I don't know if Mirrodin will deal that much. I know how this fight goes. It takes a little bit of a while, but basically that's. Next few videos are just going to be us trying a few different guys out, trying to do a few different things, and just setting up before we advance the story too much. So,
Cool.
I still find it interesting. I still find all the each battle is still quite interesting. It's like playing chess over and over again. You know, you just keep wiggling and keep doing things. The cool thing, so you do different things. So the cool thing about this fight is that we actually use a little bit of dark magic, which I tend to not ever do on my Terror Knights, which is probably my fault. So it's good that they're using Paralytic Wave, and they'll use Drain Mind and things like that, which, yeah, like we haven't really seen any of that to date. We use Mirrodin quite liberally for his healing because, yeah, we don't have a healer or a mage in this crew. Which is probably my biggest weakness. No. Blowguns have really short range too.
Yeah.
But that's why when I was planning this, I kind of planned it on a Beast Tamer. Yeah, golems are hard to bust through. Also, that slashing damage that we have is not the best. I think that was a critical. So golems, sometimes you need like the crushing damage of a two-handed sword or a hammer or a cudgel or something. When I was planning the blowgun though, the reason I put on the Beast Tamer is because I expect him to be sort of like almost a frontline character. You want him like buffing your beasts and stuff like that. So I figured wherever he's going, like long term, wherever he's going, there's going to be some kind of beast or some kind of support with him. So I don't mind if he is short range. He should be poisoning frontline characters and, you know, smashing them with poison or paralysis or sleep or whatever else he's got on his explode dart. So that's his little strategy. I like thinking of little strategies like that. That's the fun of the game, is the mix of combination of abilities, and each character can be different. Like a Beast Tamer, you can have them focused on being a recruiter or being, you know, empowering beasts. You can just have them sort of around as a recruiter who's kind of just a normal fighter. You know, your clerics can be more healing or more like white mage support. Your knights can be tankier like Falkert, or they can be more healy and just, you know, just around and not dealing as much damage, a bit more like Voltaire. Even within each class, it's still interesting to, you know, to see what you've designed them by and how you operate them.
Yeah.
I don't know why I threw a stone at him. I think I was just getting fed up that I don't deal any damage at all. So you can see here we're like a level or two behind some of these characters in general, and just hitting him with unleveled weapons just deals no damage. And basically we're just trying to block him so he can't jump onto the tile with us.
Yeah, I noticed.
And this little octopus is going to be trouble because there's not much you can do with him. I should see if I can get my hands on one of them, because I had one in a former playthrough and it was so much fun. Because they're versatile, they can go anywhere, and they have a ranged ability as well as a melee attack. They're not quite as tanky as the golems or other beasts, and they don't fly like griffins and things like that. But I always found them fun. Anyway, that's gonna go on. Did you want to, since we started talking about it already, did you want to explain to everyone about your pets? You're gonna gush over your pettage? I missed my shot. Shot into the river.
Talking about your pets gets tiring. Not to me, like, it gets tiring to other people. There's only so many times you can tell a gross story, or, you know, oh look, my puppy did something silly.
You have... I will quickly go. This is the not owner gushing over pet angle of your pets. Ow. She shot me. So you have the new puppy, Teddy, who just likes to play and never settles. God damn it!
Good job.
1 damage to their guy, 7 damage to my guy in the back. Wow! Ow! This is where not having a healer sucks. So puppy Teddy is cool. How old is she?
Should be about 8 or 9 months now.
Oh, full of beans. You got a nice big yard for her to run around in, though.
Yeah.
She likes playing with people, so you kind of have to go out there with her and play around.
She likes me holding the bone so she can chew on it.
Yeah, she likes like really chewing on things to the point of like wrecking them, but she likes it more if you just hold it while she chews it and tugs on it and tears at it and grips it. She's not very often. She doesn't always do the tug-of-war thing that a lot of dogs like doing. She purely just wants to tear things. So you'll be trying to tug-of-war and she'll just be like constantly re-biting it to try and rip it. So, but she's cool. And then your other pet is Pix, who, when I was staying with you guys, she was here. And she's cool. What's is it a Bombay breed? I think that was it.
I think so.
And that's a very affectionate breed, so she really likes just peeing around people. To the point, like, she used to just do laps of the house, just seeing everyone. Not because she wanted anything, and not, I mean, yeah, I guess she wanted attention, but yeah, she used to just walk around and she meows a little bit. She'll walk up to you and meow just until you talk to her or pet her, and then she'll walk away satisfied. It's just in her nature to, it's just like a wholesome family cat. And she's really gorgeous. She likes laying on people and just lounging around with you. She's the type of kitty. When you guys went and she was staying with me for a little bit, she came into my room once and she likes exploring. I picked her up and she climbed on my shoulder and tried to get into the top drawer of my wardrobe, top shelf of my wardrobe. I got a walk-in robe, and so I put her up there and she found a pile of clothes and just plonked herself down. And I was like, well, I kind of need to sleep, but I thought, well, I'm sure she'll meow if she needs me. And full on, so I went to sleep, and she slept too, and she was just happy just being there, and she didn't get down until she heard me stirring the next morning. She heard me sort of stirring, and she walked over to the edge and just sat there for a few minutes, and then when I got up, she meowed once, and I came and got her down, and she was happy. She just, like I say, she just likes being around people. So, cool little kitty. I kind of miss having pets. It's been a while for me. Sad face. As you can see, this battle's raging on. I should have something a bit more in tune to talk about. I know we want to talk about something, but I kind of want to have a good half an hour run at that one.
Yeah, that's... I mean, I could ramble about that all day.
At least
we both know what the topic is, but yeah.
At least that mage didn't deal too much damage. This frightened status sucks. It sucks that I didn't put it back on him. Do you see what I did if you give a character counterattack, they'll counterattack any hit on them. So if you have something like frightened, like on hit frightened, or that fearful impact I used, or if you have something like berserk, or something like that deals an on hit effect, if you have counterattack, you can proc that ability at the end of your turn, and it'll stay until you attack with it, I believe. So you will counterattack with that ability on as many times as you need to counterattack, and then you'll get to hit with it during your turn as well. So it's really cool to put them on at the end of the turn if you know you're going to be the focus of attacks.
Yeah.
So if you had a character with like a silencing weapon or something like that, it'd be really cool to put it on.
I had a question.
Yep.
What is your favorite game company? Oh, not your favorite, but what game company do you think has made the most games of consistently good quality?
That's a really tough question.
It's okay. It's just a segue into what I really want to talk about. And that's Blizzard has made, or is going to make, Starcraft Remastered.
Right.
I just remembered this.
I wouldn't give Blizzard as my answer, because for me, they made Starcraft 1 that everyone liked, Warcraft 3, and I guess WoW, but I wouldn't say that 3 games is a good, consistent...
Well, you have to also say Warcraft 1 and 2 and Diablo 1 and 2.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
But I agree their modern track record's a little less thrilling.
Well,
but,
they're kind of steeped in... It's almost like they're so big that their games are popular, right? So
yeah,
there's not much you can do. I don't really like any of their modern installments, but it doesn't mean they weren't popular.
But more specifically, the point is they're doing the StarCraft remake, a HD version of it. And the reason, I don't know, it's sort of like a very dangerous thing that they're doing. So what they're doing is the standard version of StarCraft you will now be able to buy. You'll now be able to get for free. The old standard version. Absolutely free. If anyone wants to play it, they can. And the new version, the high definition version, if you want it, you have to pay. And the two versions, you can play on either of them. And they're both, cross compatible. So if you play on one, you can play against someone on the other. Or, with people on the other.
Yep.
So that's a great thing. But some of the things they've said have made people go, oh, that's a bit odd. Like, so they're making a high-def version. But one of the things that really holds back StarCraft is its definition, is its resolution. It's an old game, and it's got only options for really old resolution types. So anyone who doesn't pay money is sort of lumped with a really poor resolution, assuming they don't change it. Maybe they will. But it sounds like they won't. It sounds like they're going to say, okay, if you want to watch it, if you want to play the game on 920, 1080p...
Oh, yeah, you're talking about, like, not picture quality, you're talking about, like, size of screen.
Yeah. And that is really annoying. Anyone who's tried to play a game with an old, screen size, that's terrible. Like, it resizes all your programs, and if it's not programmed well, your screen will then, it'll minimize all your programs and shunt them around your screen to make them fit the new screen size. And things like that. Like, there's just problems associated with not having a full resolution. It's inconvenient. And so people are, like, that's the wonder right now is, are they going to put it in 920 by 1080p for standard version, or is that exclusive to high def? In which case, it basically looks like a tactic, I would say, to push people to get the HD version. And you might think that's fine. Like, fair enough, they've got to earn money somehow, and they're doing it basically for free anyway. But it does seem a little less generous than it initially sounded. Like, you can get this free version of a game we've been selling for 16, 18 years now, 1999. But you can only get it in a terrible quality. Or you can pay money to get the exact same game with a higher resolution and updated pictures.
We'll show you
It's
the
like,
GIMP copy just to show you how good the good copy should be.
Yeah. And the other thing that's got a lot of people very worried is they're going to revise some audio and dialogue. So I guess you wouldn't really know about this, and maybe that's
Starcraft.
a topic for another day, but one of the big plot points for Starcraft, the first one, spoilers, in case
If you haven't played Starcraft 1.
an 18-year-old game now, one of the big plot things of it was right at the end, the villain of the story, Kerrigan, has basically betrayed everyone after working with them to kill a bigger evil. And then she betrays everyone, kills a bunch of, heroic characters. And at the end, Jimmy Raynor, who you could say is the main character of the Terran, the human team, basically says he'll kill her the next time he sees her. No argument, no question, he's just going to kill her because she's done too much damage. However, in StarCraft 2, they decided to undo this point in favor of making a love story between Kerrigan and Jim Raynor. Kerrigan was once a human that Jim Raynor knew, and she got turned into an alien in one of the Zerg. And it was an interesting story back then to watch her go through this change, forceful change. It wasn't a particularly willing change, but after she became this new Zerg creature, she no longer had humanity in many ways. Like she sort of abandoned it outright and did want to kill humans, did have her own motives of attaining power, and she was willing to be very ruthless and do whatever to, win. And when StarCraft 2 rolled around and they started retconning it, essentially, they were like, oh no, look, she can be saved, she doesn't have to be evil, and they started making Jim Raynor not want to kill her outright, but want to save her.
Which really cheapens his character, because of the
Yeah.
brevity of him having to make that decision in the first place was huge, and then they took that
Yeah.
all away.
And so a lot of people were upset about it. And what people believe, and this isn't entirely unjustified, is they think maybe Blizzard's going to try and write that out of the story, which is...
Oh, the bit where he says he needs to kill her.
Yeah. Which would be terrible. That would just be
It'd be
basically
cheap.
unforgivable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
This
I
guy is
just
just so
realised-
hard to hit because he's in the river, and I barely have any ranged characters, and the blowgun's not going to deal much damage to him, and he's going to get wrecked.
Yeah, that's what I was imagining. I was just imagining all your guys surrounding this octopus on the shore while it's in the middle, and you're just throwing rocks at it every turn.
I
5 damage a turn.
figured out a new strategy here.
Okay.
I just got to get the range right to cast Drainheart.
But yeah, fundamentally, people are worried that they will revise the dialogue to sort of make their retcon work better, and it will be a detriment to the story. Because, quite frankly, StarCraft...
Star Wars. What's on your mind?
Don't know. StarCraft is a very classic game, and the stories it tells are very simple and easy to understand and relate to stories of, characters with good motivation and
I think that was the
interesting
thing
tales.
with the original StarCraft. Like, it was a cool game. It flowed nice and easy. That was probably the biggest selling point. But the story was involved, but it was simple, and everyone was pretty interesting because their motives were sort of on their sleeve, and it all sort of flowed.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a disappointment that they're going to revise some dialogue. The moment they say that they're going to revise dialogue, you have to assume that something strange is going on, because why would you need to revise dialogue?
Right.
What do you need to change about the game? The other thing is, over the past X amount of time, Blizzard's sort of fallen into this idea, and you can say it's the right idea or the wrong idea, but they've fallen into this idea that they need stronger female characters. Specifically, there was a turning point where there was an interview, and someone sort of questioned how sexualized Kerrigan was, the StarCraft character Kerrigan. And the interview was then cut short very awkwardly and quickly, because I guess the Blizzard people weren't prepared for that. And since then, Blizzard's sort of been doing a lot of things oriented in about having more female characters, diverse female characters, and characters represented in different ways. The most notable one I would have to say is Sylvanas. You know Sylvanas, surely.
Yes.
So in Warcraft 3, she was basically a villain, but she was surrounded by people who were worse than her. And her whole thing was about overcoming these people and sort of striking out a home of her own with her people. And she did that, and then WoW showed up and split the world in two. So she allied with the Horde, the Orcs, the Trolls, the Tauren. But it was more like an alliance of convenience because they had the same enemies. And out of all the teams on each side, she definitely had like the least association with her faction. She wasn't really associated with the Horde. They were sort of just on the same side, not really friends. Well, since time has been passing on, this hasn't changed much. She's still just sort of associated with them. But now she's the leader of the Horde, which is an absolute
Totally
disaster
bizarre.
of an idea. Well,
She's so disassociated with the Horde and what they were doing from a story perspective that it makes no sense that she would step in and suddenly lead them. Like, would she even want to? No.
And the thing is, for her to become the leader, they had to kill the previous leader, which was a popular leader because he made sense to lead the Horde. He was a troll who's been around for a long time, shown himself to be a sensible leader, and he had association, and he was popular. And then they sort of killed him off so that Sylvanas could be the leader. And you got to wonder why Sylvanas had to be the leader. Why it had to be the undead. Why the undead had to lead the Horde, and things like that. And again, this is tied back into the point Blizzard's big on girl power right now. A lot of their characters and different things are being designed around girl power, and that's fine. But when they're going back and revising dialogue of an old game, you have to sort of take stock and go, are they going to do the right thing? Or are they going to basically fuck it up?
Yeah.
When it was fine as it is.
I think if you're going to inject the equality angle into a game, I think you have to do it in a way that makes sense within the game, not just for the sake of doing it. And I think that might be the risk of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's specific to Starcraft, but that just seems to be the trend that a lot of companies are going with. Obviously, we're not going to have a whole episode talking about that issue, but
Oh god, no.
that's the fringes of it. If you can find a way that makes sense, yeah, sure, fine. But if you're retconning or changing things that don't make sense just for the sake of trying to equate the scales, I don't think that helps A, the cause, and B, your games. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are winding down. We are again the Frere of Souls. And we will catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Catch us next time.
Okay, see ya.